Paris, chérie, mon beau Paris, c'est toujours toi que j'aime.
Hello there, and welcome to Paris Set Me Free video photo appreciations. I'm either analysing one of my photos or saying what I like about yours. Yours if you came on one of my photo tours in Paris. Peter did. Peter from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. In Australia, I've met a lot of good people from Australia and from Queensland in particular. The photographic community there seems like it's crazy. So many people into photography, and I'm lucky because a few of them come over and spend a few hours with me. So Peter did. This is the second video I'm doing with your photos, Peter, because you sent me quite a few and wanted to talk about them. Here's one. I love it. I think you've played around with the colours a little bit. How do I know? Because I do it as well. I love saturating colours. I think one of the things is finding your own individual style, isn't it, in photography? I'm doing the same thing in art, trying to find my style in art, in my abstract painting, and it seems to be what sets people apart, or rather gets them recognised and known, is you can look at a photo by them and know it's theirs. Now, this bugs me a little bit because I don't like to pigeonhole myself, so I must admit I'm doing a lot of photos where the saturation is pretty heavy, but my photographic aim is to produce something halfway between grim photographic reality, which to be honest isn't always that beautiful, and a painting. So I'm appreciating what you're doing here. That doesn't mean that just by doing some fancy post-processing you can get away from having a crap composition, folks. And Peter hasn't got a crap composition, I reckon, because look, you've got some classic elements. You've got your subject, which is here, going this way into the photo. There's a tilt of some sort there, I reckon, and they seem to be climbing this grid of the zebra crossing. And when people are moving in the photo, it's nice if they've got more space in front of them, behind them. That's the case here, and I'm sure Peter's aware of that. What you've also got, what I like best about this photograph, is this sort of square of zebra crossings. 1, 2, 3. Very nicely framing them in another way, isn't it? I mean, you've got your picture frame, but it's great if you've got another frame inside the photograph, one that you've invented, and there it is, those zebra crossings there. Alright, so that's good stuff. Now I'm going to move on to another photograph, and this is getting very close to my heart and my art. It's Paris street photography. What am I talking about? It's Paris street art, and there's so much of it, and especially in this area. If you do want to come to Paris and see some interesting graffiti, well, there's a big debate, isn't there? What's graffiti? What's street art? What's tags and stuff? We're lucky in Paris that we've got a lot of artists who are producing some pretty good stuff on the walls. Either it's just pleasing or it says something socially. I don't know if you have to, but there has to be something more for me than just writing your name in fancy letters. And this is what I love various parts of Paris for. Here's one, and in this shot you can see a couple of the most famous street artists of all in Paris. This guy who does this is called Jeff Aerosol. He was one of the first stencilers, and this I know the name, but it's slipped me by. There's this one here that has been effaced is by someone called Mystique, I think. She does the cat often, and the lady in black. I often take pictures of her. In fact, I've just interviewed her and taken some photos of her. There'll be an interview on another site of mine called parisifyouplease.com. Have a look, check it out. Right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty then. What's going on here? Well, in this case, I don't think you have lightened it up, Peter, whereas in this one you clearly have. Some people say that it's cheating to play around afterwards in the pure sort of street photography style. I do play around afterwards if it's too dull. I like to bump up the brightness a bit if it's dull, and I do pump up the colours, punch up the colours a little bit. Not sure if you've done that here. Don't think so. but it's nice and bright. It's obviously what you wanted. Now let's have a look at the thing here. I have a terrible concern with taking pictures of other people's art. In other words, pictures on walls, in that I'm not adding anything to it. So I always ask myself, what have I added to this photograph that it isn't just a reproduction of what they've done? Now you've got the guy here, and he's surrounded by this blue. He's almost framed by this blue street art, which is a bunch of buildings by the looks of it, and always a camera with these people. Which is right, that's what I try to do. I try to have some link between something that's happening on the street and the background. There's the pavement there, there's the leaves. The leaves almost go with those fish there. Here's another one, let's have a look. Alright, this one is in the vertical format, so it goes off the top. And again, you've got, what touch have we got? What is the personal touch to make this more than just a representation of what these people have done? Yes, this group is called Les Arts, maybe Les Arts de la Bièvre. And well, we've got the autumn leaves, haven't we? Got a very nice little sliver here that shows that it's autumn when this was taken. This is again typical of Jeff Aerosol. Look, these guys, they even paint over whatever is on the wall, including letterboxes, old cigarette distributors, and what have you. Also, there's the street sign. It says the 13th, it says Rue de la Butte aux Cailles, which is very famous, and some other posters. So there's a lot of different stuff in that one photograph, which is nice. Let me just quickly show you a couple of mine, just to show you the approaches that I go for. Here's one. Again, it's quite similar really. I've got the street sign there and some street graffiti. I've bumped up the colours slightly, but then that's kind of my style. But look what I've gone for here. I went for a repetition of the arm holding up the sign there, holding up hope, the arm aloft in this little guy in this picture. There's another arm aloft there and another arm aloft there, and I had my arm aloft when I was taking the photo, if you don't think that's too cheesy. So I'm always looking for something more than the individual artist did. Maybe this artist did this thinking of that aloft, that arm aloft, or that arm aloft, or the other way round. I don't know. But that's what I look for. What can I add? What can I shove together that no one else has seen before? Here's another one. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Another one of my shots where this guy here, who is called Nemo, maybe it's Nemo that does the cat actually, not Mystique, has got the umbrella, and there's the umbrellas. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm looking for always, in adding more than just a record of somebody else's work. I'll give you one more example of that. Here it is. This is also in Butte aux Cailles, just round the corner from Mystique, where she lives actually. Well, her studio, sorry. And pretty straightforward, you may say. How have I changed that? Well, I've given it a bit of texture and played around with the edges and stuff. But for me, well, this chimney is pretty important. It might not seem like much, and there might not be some stunning link between them in terms of, you know, the irony of a chimney and this guy together. I mean, there isn't, is there? Having said that, look at the balance of the photograph, if you can, the way I'm doing it. This line chops the photo into two, and there's about a third to a quarter of the photo above, and 3/4 to 2/3 below. Nice, slightly diagonal line. It's a gutter. And look at the colour. The colour of the background here is echoed in this little bit of colour here. The rest is white. So one little bit of that colour here, and then the entire two bottom thirds have that colour. So it's an echo. It's a balance with these trees coming in there. So I'm always looking for that sort of thing. I've got about 20 seconds left, and look what this guy did. Oh my goodness. Who's this? Oh dear. It's the famous street artist known as... Oh God, what's his name? Standing near one of his works. I don't know, I've seen him before sometime. Maybe we'll see him if you come to Paris too. See you soon, bye-bye!
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre, je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.